Hey guys, what's up? It's Danny. Last week I finally finished school, and even though the semester ended in a way that nobody thought was possible, I am finally gonna be a senior. And I think I said this in my last vlog, but it's crazy to think that 3 years of college literally just went by like that. In the back of my head, I could still picture that very first day of college when I walked into a college class and I was just really confused. It all happened really fast, but somehow I got to this position where I am now, and I graduate in a year, which is really scary to think. Now in this video, I'm gonna be taking a look back at my junior year, kind of doing a reflection, because honestly, this year, I don't know how to explain it. There's not a single word that describes my junior year. It was the year that created me, but also destroyed me, or destroyed me but also created me. I don't know the phrase well, but you get what I'm saying. The way I'm gonna break down this video is into different categories that I'm gonna put right here with their timestamps, so you could skip to them if you want to. So I'm gonna talk about my academics, my athletic training life, my social life, YouTube life, and what I plan on doing in the future. Pretty much everything I'm gonna mention is gonna be pre-coronavirus, because to be honest, when coronavirus hit, everything just shut down. I was stuck at home doing Zoom University. So yeah. All right, but let's start off talking about academics as a junior. So like I said, I'm an athletic training major, and junior year is when we actually start taking the legit, the real hard athletic training classes. The way the program works is that freshman and sophomore year, you do a lot of easy prereqs, and then junior year, you're officially in the program. But even though it was the most challenging set of classes that I've ever taken, I also think it was a set of classes that were the most interesting, especially all my orthopedic assessment classes. I really enjoyed going over anatomy, all the muscles, origin, insertion, action, innervation. I would go over anatomy at least for 30 minutes a day, and I was not complaining. I also think that this was a year where I truly hacked the system. I always talk about finding a system that works for you in terms of studying and academics, and this was a year where I found my system. There were moments before test when I was freaking the out, and I was oh, I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna do really bad, all this studying is worthless. But then I sat down, relaxed, and I actually thought about how hard and how much I studied, and I really boosted up my confidence. And with that confidence, I was able to do really well in my exams, so it all paid off. I'm not trying to flex, but I ended up getting all A's in all of my classes without any issues. Well, actually, I did get a B in pharmacology, but that class was hard as So my athletic training life, guys, being an athletic training student is a complete grind. Balancing athletic training with your normal life, your social life, me with YouTube and fitness, it's super hard. You have clinicals, you have to study, and then your clinicals are oh, you have to be here at a certain time. You're no, I want to study, but then you go to clinicals, so you can't study, and it just becomes a really crazy cycle, and you start freaking out. So in the fall, I worked with the football team, and every time I say that I worked with the football team, everybody's oh my god, Danny, yes, the football team, you're so cool. But honestly, it was a really rough experience. This is how a typical football day would go. I would wake up at 5:30, be in the football facility at 6 a.m. From 6 to 9:30, we would set up everything. So all the water, which was a lot, it was 10 gallons all over the place. We would also set up the medical tent, which was also a lot of medical supply, because it's football, so the risk of injury is really high. Then after setup, if it was our time to do treatment, we would do treatment, which pretty much means, the name implies a treatment. So we would treat players. We would give them flushes, we would do ultrasound, use different modalities, stuff like that, just making them feel better, or make them ready for practice. During practice, we would pretty much stand there with our water caddies. We would give the players water when they needed it. If they had a medical thing, we would kind of see it, but we usually would refer it to one of the licensed ATs. Practice would end around 11:30 or 12 depending on the day, but here's the thing. We had a class literally right after practice, which means I had 30 minutes to shower, eat, and get to class on time. And that whole rush of finishing everything at football, literally sprinting to the gym so I could shower, then sprinting to the dining hall so I could eat lunch, and then biking my ass to class. Doing that for 5 or 4 months, I honestly have no idea how I did it, because it was It was just super stressful. Honestly, for me, what made football hard had nothing to do with like actually working with the football team. Like I thought our preceptors were great. They're really fun. I had a good time with them. But what made it hard was like not being able to do what you enjoy doing on a normal basis. So for example, freshman and sophomore year, the way that I would always start my day is wake up at 6 a.m., go straight to the gym, go for a run, and start my day with like a good exercise, and it would just really motivate me to like do better the rest of the day. But during football, I couldn't do that. So like adjusting to that new routine and lifestyle was like really hard. Now here's the thing, I know I make football sound like really bad, but honestly, like once you get through it and you look back at it, it was not a bad experience. I actually loved the fact that I got to work with the football team. The biggest takeaway about working with a football team is that like I learned so much, not only about athletic training, but like about myself. I learned how to work with a team, solve problems on the spot, and just like be more organized and like more efficient at what I do. I know I made football sound really stressful because it really was, but I also think that football was like the most important experience I will ever have in college. And there are a lot of fun things about football. Like I got really close to my classmates. I made really good friends. I was literally on the field for the games, which was really cool. And my favorite part about working football is that the food on the airplane for away games was the best. After football in the spring, I did my clinical internship at a high school and I loved it. Everything about it was great. My preceptor was great. The student athletes were great. I was learning a lot, doing a lot of hands-on stuff. And honestly, like after football, everything becomes so much easier that like I actually enjoyed what I did so much. So to sum it up, as an athletic training student, fall and football really rough, like really crazy times, but then spring with the high school, yes, still a little bit crazy because I gotta like balance athletic training life and like school and just like my own personal life, but the high school was really fun. So my social life, all right, so my social life was like a graph. Like I went into junior year like this. It went all the way down, and then literally like it went bakada, like right back up. In the fall with football going on, I like barely had a social life. Looking back at it, I do think that I could have had a better social life in the fall, but like I overwhelmed myself just so I could like, you know, stay focused on like get good grades and like not let my grades drop during football. During the fall, like friends would text me, "Oh Danny, like let's hang out, like let's party, let's do this, let's do that." And my reply was always like, "You know what, I can't today. I have football or I have a game on the weekend, so I need to study now." So pretty much my schedule was like not available. Also, I got this asked so many times, where is my girlfriend? And yes, unfortunately, we did break up. She was great. We still got along perfectly. There really was no beef, but the reality is that like I was super busy. She was super busy. So like the relationship just kind of like fell apart. Now, social life in the spring without football, like damn, like I turned 21 and my social life went from like here to literally like that first week of like coming back to campus and starting school. Like I went on a rally. Like Thursday I went out, Friday I went out, Saturday I went out, Sunday I recovered, and then like I did it all again like the following week. In the spring, it kind of felt like I was making up for like all the moments that I had to say no to my friends about going out. I was going out so much, and I'm gonna be honest, I was partying my ass off. And eventually at one point, yes, I did come to realize, okay, how do I balance like this social life with like academics? Because I didn't want to quit that social life. Like I was having such a good time. Like nothing was gonna stop me from going out. But I'm also really responsible. I want to get good grades. So it did take a while to like adjust to the situation. But eventually, like I don't know how, at one point, I was living the perfect like work hard, play hard mentality. Thursday nights from 5 to 9 p.m. before I would pregame and go out, I was studying, like literally zooming into my notes, study more efficiently than I ever have before. Saturday morning from 6 a.m. to like 2 p.m. straight up grind and study. Focus on school so that in the afternoon and at night I could like party and just have fun. Sunday, no question. Sunday was grind and recover. Like Sunday, I would just study, no human interaction, but just me and my notes. Alright, so now let's move on and talk about YouTube, because this year was like really interesting for my channel. I would say that like last spring when I was uploading like twice a week and like good vlogs too, Like that's when my channel like really took off. And then like in the summer I was only uploading once because I was like really busy working. It kind of like went down, staggered a little bit. Then in the fall, so here's the deal with the fall and my YouTube. Since I was working with the football team, it was impossible, and I mean impossible, to like bust out 2 videos a week, mainly because videos take a really long time to edit and I just didn't have the time. But also when I was working with the football team, like there's like certain things I had to follow like through compliance. So a lot of stuff that I did with the football team, I just couldn't record and like put out there on YouTube. And in the beginning of the fall, like I even considered like taking a break from YouTube because I knew football was gonna be like really rough. The only thing though that like stopped me from taking a break is that I got an email about a sponsorship. And when that happened, I'm like, you know what? Like I've been doing YouTube for like a year now, 2 years. I can't stop now. Like let me keep going. I'll upload once a week. And my whole like goal in the fall with YouTube was just to keep the channel alive. Now the good thing about working football and the preceptors that I had is that they're really chill about like my whole YouTube situation. They knew about it. Like a lot of people knew about it. So when I told them, oh, can I like do some athletic training content as long as it's like no athletes, I follow the rules, they're fine with it. So it did allow me to create some athletic training vlogs. Now when football was done and I started spring, my whole mentality was like, you know what, Danny, you're gonna go back to 2 uploads a week. If you were able to do football, you could do anything. But that really didn't happen. I still stayed 1 video a week, and that's for a lot of reasons. I would say that the first reason is because I was doing my internship at a high school, and I really wasn't on campus too much. Like I would spend more time at the high school than I would on campus. And I'm just like not allowed to vlog at the high school like 24/7. So that's kind of like why I really didn't show too much. And the second main reason is, like I said, I was going out a lot. Like I was going crazy. And I just honestly, guys, I honestly just want to like take a break and enjoy the moment. If I uploaded twice a week, I would have not had the time to like go out as much as I did because guys, like I said, YouTube, it takes time. You have to edit. And there's also other things I do like study. So if you balance that out, it definitely takes away like social time. I always say this, like the more social you become online, the less social you become in person because you're just trying so hard to like make the social version of you like the best you possibly can, which kind of takes away from like the real life version of you. I know that sounded kind of hippie, but like it kind of makes sense. One thing that I noticed when I was going out that does have to do with YouTube is that like people actually knew who I was. Like people were like, oh my god, like you're Danny, like you do the YouTube videos, oh my god, like I saw that one video, it really helped me, like thank you, oh my god, like let's get a picture. When this first started happening, like I was shocked. I didn't realize that like people actually like knew who I was. Like I said, it feels good because like you put in so much work into YouTube, so to get recognized in person, like it really feels amazing and appreciative. But like I was just surprised. The only bad thing about having people go up to you, at least for me, is that like my ego at one point got like really high. Like I was mentally inflated, if that's even a word. Like I thought I was the like I thought I was a badass, and I'm really not. I don't even have 100,000 subscribers. Like there's kids my age that like have like millions of subscribers. Like I don't consider myself like a famous YouTuber or like a huge YouTuber like at all. So in those moments when I felt like a badass, like and my ego was really high, I didn't like feeling that way because it really wasn't reflective of who like I really was. So I really didn't like feeling something that I'm not or somebody that like I'm not. And there are moments when I even thought about quitting YouTube. Like I'm like, wow, like if this is only making me feel bad because it's making me think that I'm like better or like somebody that I'm really not, like this isn't healthy, like this isn't like what I want to be, this isn't what I want to think. Like I know it sounds really like deep and like spiritual in a way and like really emotional, but like a lot of things were like going into my head and I'm like, okay, like I could just quit YouTube and this could all be over with. But eventually I sat down and I realized, you know what, the only person that's creating this problem is like yourself. Like I'm literally like, you know what, why do I think like this? Like why do I think I'm like a badass? Like I just don't have to do that. And that's exactly what I did, and it worked out really well. Like instead of using like all that attention to boost my ego, I used it as a justification to keep grinding, keep making YouTube videos so I could keep growing, because I honestly love making videos and I never want to stop doing it. I ended up turning something like really negative to something positive, and I even started making 2 videos a week after quarantine. Like I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how long I can keep that up because like there's really nothing to film now because everything is shut down, but I would try my hardest to do 2 videos a week because I just love doing it. Now this is the last part. I really don't know if anybody's gonna watch this because I know it's a long video of me like blabbering about my life. But my future, what will I do? Let's start off with YouTube. With YouTube, yes, I do want to keep making YouTube videos twice a week. I actually started planning videos, which is really helpful, but like I said, I don't know, at least during quarantine, how realistic it's gonna be for me to keep up with twice a week, because there's really not much to film. Something that I have in mind is that I actually want to do and host an anatomy YouTube show and call it Muscle Mondays. The way Muscle Mondays would work is that every Monday I would go over a specific muscle and just talk about a single muscle, because as an athletic training student, I learned a lot about muscles and I thought the resources on YouTube were like not that fun. In terms of academics, I am going to be a senior. Yay! Now the last thing, I get this asked all the time, Danny, like what do you want to do after athletic training? Do you want to be an athletic trainer, physical therapist? Like what do you want to do? PhD, what do you want to do? Guys, I'm gonna be completely honest. I wanted initially to like be an athletic trainer for like the MLS, like for soccer, because I love soccer, I love sports. But after doing football and seeing more of athletic training and seeing more like the job side of things, I really don't know if I want to do it, because there's just a lot of factors into it. There's so many factors that I could go into. I'm not gonna go into them this video, but like my athletic training like profession is like being questioned the more I see the profession, because there's just so many things that happen that I just wasn't aware of, or things that I kind of like discovered, or things that are different than I thought they originally were. So I'm honestly like not gonna talk too much about it, but I don't know how me being an athletic trainer in the future is gonna look like. I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest. Just because I'm learning, like I said, I'm learning more, and I don't know if it's a right fit for me. I know that was kind of like a very vague but like long answer, but like it's just really hard to like express everything in front of a camera, and I don't want to like expose too much either, so I'm kind of like going on the low with that one. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it for me. I know it was a really long video, but one day I'm gonna be like watching this and be like, wow, junior year was rough. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up down below and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with my weekly uploads. That's pretty much it for me, but always remember to stay hydrated.